Hello and good evening, everyone. We hope that you have been enjoying your Saturday so far, and we are so glad that you could join us for another presentation of Capital Men's Basketball here on athletics.capital.edu. I'm Charlie Danis, and welcome in to the Byers Airport Subaru pregame show as we get you set for tonight's men's basketball game between the Student Princes of Heidelberg and your Capital Crusaders. Well, the season hasn't exactly started off the way that Capital intended it to, although this is going to be one of those seasons that is very special, one of those seasons it's going to be very interesting to navigate given the challenges that we've had to face as a state, as a country, as a world against COVID-19. So with that in mind, we are officially 3 games into this new schedule that was put forth by the Ohio Athletic Conference. In case this is your first time listening to a Capital basketball game and you're wondering what the heck are you talking about, Charlie? Well, here's a brief summary. The OAC has adopted this new schedule because of COVID-19. Only conference games. You will play a certain conference opponent on a Friday night and then travel to their place or come back to your place to play the same opponent on Saturday. To give you an example, tonight Heidelberg is playing Capital a day after Capital had to go to Heidelberg to take on the Student Princes. So this is game 2 of a short 2-game series between both of these teams. And let's just say Capital is hoping that this game will go a lot better than the game that took place last night at Sieberling Gymnasium over in Tiffin, Ohio. This was a relatively close game in the first half. Capital was only down by 7 at the break, but Heidelberg just turned it on offensively. Ends up outscoring Capital 49-29 in the second half en route to an 83-56 victory over the Crusaders. It was a night to remember for Alex Arlano and Dylan Woods. Both of those young men end up going for 20-plus points. Arlano drops 22, Woods drops 21. Those guys were able to do their damage from basically any part of the court. They both combined for 5 made three-pointers. They got to the foul line a lot as well. They were the ones that were able to enforce themselves from an offensive standpoint. In that game, 2 double-digit scores for Capital. Griffin Dosick had 17 for the Crusaders. Carter Combs, meanwhile, continues to impress in his first couple of games. In a Capital uniform, he had 11 points, although he only shot 4 of 12 from the field and 2 of 5 from three-point range. So with the loss, Capital drops to 1-2 on the season after splitting a pair with Muskingum the previous week. Heidelberg, meanwhile, they are off to a perfect 2-0 start, looking to improve to 3-0 tonight, but the Crusaders will have something to say about that this evening as these two teams will lock horns with one another here at the Capital Center. Just getting started with the Byers Airport Subaru pregame show. When we come back, I'm going to be able to turn it over to Capital Assistant Sports Information Director Ray Delgado as he was able to catch up with Capital men's basketball coach Damon Goodwin. You'll hear that conversation coming up in mere moments. This is the Byers Airport Subaru pregame show.
This is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse, only nature does it better.
Welcome back to the Byers Airport Subaru pregame show. I am Ray Delgado, and I'm here with head coach Damon Goodwin ahead of game number 2 versus Heidelberg. Game 1 was last night in Tiffin, and Welcome back to the Byers Airport Subaru pregame show. I am Ray Delgado, and I'm here with head coach Damon Goodwin ahead of game number 2 versus Heidelberg. Game 1 was last night in Tiffin, and coach, you guys were in the game through the first half, but in the second, it kind of got away from you. What did you see from your guys that they did well, and also what they need to improve on?
Well, it more than kind of got away from us. We got our butts whipped, and sometimes in this game, you take a little humble pie, and we had that last night, and came back in this morning, had a little practice, trying to get some things straightened out. We weren't very disciplined. We weren't very good. We must figure out how to score points. We just can't make shots right now, and this game's really hard. It's hard when you're making shots, and it's almost impossible when you're not making shots, and that's certainly something we have to fix.
So Griffin Dosick, he was a bright spot for you last night. Scored 17, grabbed 7 rebounds, and then also freshman Carter Coombs, he scored 11 and got 6 rebounds. What's it going to take to get the other guys going and settled in?
Well, I don't know. If you look at the percentages for our guys shooting it right now, it's just simply awful, and we have to do a better job of offensively putting them in a position to get better shots. That's what we can do, and we worked on that this morning. We tried to get our spacing. We've tried to do some things that maybe put a little wrinkle in some things we've done offensively. So as a program, we need to do a better job of putting them in spots that they can score. Individually, they need to do a better job of making those opportunities. So we all have to do better. And Griffin did play well. Griffin actually hasn't shot it great, but has been aggressive and has played well pretty much this season so far. And Carter Combs has been I knew he was going to be a good player for us, but it's been a pleasant surprise for him to be playing so well this early. He will start for us tonight. We have to have his offense at the beginning of the game, and hopefully that changeup will help us. Meister will go out of the starting lineup. Trey will still play a lot of minutes. He's just going to come off the bench, what he did last year, basically at this point, and we just have to go with the guys that can help get shots and create shots right now. And that's why Carter's going to get a shot at getting the starting lineup tonight.
Well, luckily it's a new game, it's a new night. What are going to be the keys for you guys specifically on the offensive end tonight versus Heidelberg?
Well, unfortunately for us, we wanted to come out and pressure them last night and create some offense off of our defense. We were not able to do that. We got a couple fast break points, not nearly what we had hoped for. And part of that is we broke down defensively. We started reaching, we started getting out of position and letting them drive by us. So we really couldn't create offense with defense. We need to do a better job of that and get some early, easier looks in a game by doing that. Offensively, our organization right now is terrible, and that's on me as much as anybody else. We came back in this morning and practiced, and we're trying to get that cleaned up. Who is where, who, what, where type of thing. We're trying to get cleaned up to put them in a position that they can score and make shots. So like I said, this has been a disappointing first couple weekends for us offensively, for sure. Defensively, we certainly broke down last night as well, and last night's just it's a humbling and a learning experience for us all.
Absolutely. Well, you kind of talked about it a little bit, but what are the keys really for stopping Heidelberg at the other end of the floor?
Well, the big thing is we can't let them drive the middle of the floor. They continually drove down the middle of the floor last night in a half court and a full court situation. Ariano kicked our butt. There's no other way of saying it. We didn't have anybody at the level that he's at right now, or at least last night. And I've challenged our bigger guys to step up today, and that's what they need to do. He's going to get some points and he's going to make some plays, but he had his way with us last night, and we can't let that happen.
So who are those players that you are looking to step up and really bring this one home for you tonight?
Well, I look at our older guys. Cam certainly needs to play better for us. he just really hasn't had a good start, and Cam needs to be more of a threat for us, and Cam needs to be a little more disciplined defensively. The other two seniors that play are Joe and Reed, and Ariano basically had his way with those two guys last night, and we didn't do anything offensively to make him pay for it. And those three seniors, and then I would say Tyler Schreck. I mean, he was a second team all conference player last year, and he really hasn't looked like it right now. And again, part of that is our fault as a program. We need to put them in better positions. Part of that is probably, their responsibility for not converting some shots that maybe they had that should have been converted at a higher clip. So we need to all realize that. And one of the quotes that we have that I use the quotes a lot is, the strongest men look in the mirror, for mistakes. They don't start blaming anybody else, and they don't start blaming teammates. And those toughest guys usually look in the mirror first and ask themselves, am I doing everything I can to make our team better? And I looked in the mirror last night, and I didn't say, yes, I have to do better as a coach, but also our players need to look in the mirror and make sure that they do better when they have a chance to play.
Well, one thing's for sure, we can always count on your guys' toughness. So we'll look for that tonight and look out for those guys. Hopefully we have a better turnaround tonight. Thank you for your time, Coach, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
We thank Capital Assistant Sports Information Director Ray Delgado for talking with Capital head coach Damon Goodwin. And you heard it right there in that interview. It's been a very frustrating start for Capital, particularly on the offensive end. They, in the words of Coach Goodwin, got their butts whipped by Heidelberg last night. And they're going to look to try to turn things around a little bit and just try to get better offensively. We will have starting lineups and the opening tip-off from the Capitol Center coming up in just a moment. You've been listening to the Byers Airport Subaru pregame show.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
This is a message for all those MBA seekers out there. For the junior exec who'd rather be senior. For the VP yearning to be CEO, and for everyone who'd call their job not just a profession, but a passion. Capital University's MBA program was built exclusively for professionals, experienced faculty, flexible schedules, and classmates you'll soon consider colleagues. Learn more at capital.edu/MBA. The Capital University MBA, for those driven to do more.
New vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this presentation of Capital Men's Basketball here on athletics.capital.edu. I'm Charlie Danis. Tonight, it'll be the Student Princes of Heidelberg taking on the Crusaders of Capital. Let us get you tonight's starting lineups, beginning with the visiting Student Princes of Heidelberg University. Their head coach is Andy Buhai. His starting five looks like this. At guard, the sophomore from Columbus, Ohio, number 1, Nikai Taylor. Also at guard, the 6'1 senior from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 4, Dylan Woods. Also at guard, the 5'10 junior from Shaker Heights, Ohio, number 11, Emmanuel Purdue. At forward, the 6'4" junior from Clyde, Ohio, number 22, Seth Homan. And finally, rounding out the starting five for the Student Princes, the 6'6" senior forward from Paulding, Ohio, number 32, Alex Arlano. Damon Goodwin's in his 26th year here at Capital. Here's what his starting five will look like for Capital. At guard, the 6'3" junior from Crescent Springs, Kentucky, number 12, Tyler Schreck. Also at guard, the 6'2" freshman from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 13, Carter Combs. At forward, the 6'4" sophomore from Anna, Ohio, number 15, Griffin Dosick. At guard, the 6'1" senior from Westerville, Ohio, number 30, Cam Caldwell. And rounding up the starting five for the Crusaders tonight will be the 6'7" senior center from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 11, Joe Hartman. Heidelberg in their road black uniforms with dark gray numbers and lettering. And Capital in their home grays.
The Crusaders are led by the head coach, Damon Goodwin.
Both teams getting set to tip it off here at the Capital Center. Our referee tonight is Chuck Dawkin. He is going to be assisted by umpires Ed Huey and James Foster. Well, Capital looking to turn things around here tonight after being beaten handedly by Muskingum the previous night. We're all set and ready to go. The ball is up, and the tip is won by Heidelberg. We are underway here at the Capital Center. So Heidelberg will begin with the basketball this evening. Emmanuel Perdue being picked up defensively by Schreck. He'll throw it on over to Arlano, who had a whale of a game. 22 points. Arlano down the lane, kick out, three-pointer, no good for Woods. Battle for the loose ball. Schreck chasing after it. It'll go out of bounds, and they will give it to Capital. So just underway here at the Capital Center, and now it'll be Capital who will get the first crack at it here. As Cam Caldwell will pass off to Tyler Schreck. Schreck on the left wing. Bounces it over to Hartman. Hartman inside. Nice pass inside. Dosick able to get loose and score. Griffin Dosick, he's been quite the aggressive offensive player for Capital so far this year. High praise from head coach Damon Goodwin in our pregame interview about Mr. Dosick, and Capital is going to be looking for a lot more of that effort as the season rolls along. Three-pointer on the way, rattles in and out for Arlano, and the rebound is taken by Capital. Schreck across half court, up to the right wing, gives off to Combs, the freshman. Combs has gotten off to a nice start, averaging a little over 11 points per game for this Capital team. Combs down the lane, shot swatted away by Arlano. Here comes Heidelberg the other way, and now Woods will slow it up. He'll go to the left lane, double team for a moment, passes out of it to Arlano. Arlano looking for some help, and count the bucket, and a foul as Seth Homan was able to get that one to go. The foul will go against Joe Hartman, his first team's first. And now Homan, the junior from Clyde, Ohio, will head to the foul line, trying to finish the and one. Homan, a right-handed shooter, puts it up, and it is good. 3-2 lead for Heidelberg as we have just gotten underway here at the Capital Center, approaching 18 minutes to go in the half. Schreck, top of the arc, picked up defensively by Emmanuel Page. Back to Schreck, pass over to Hartman. Hartman swings it around, and it goes off the hands of Cam Caldwell. Turnovers were a problem for Capital. In their last game, they turned it over 17 times, and against a team like Heidelberg that can score buckets in bunches, you just can't afford to give them extra possessions. So now here comes the Berg, heading the other way. Dylan Woods taking his time, picked up defensively by Cam Caldwell. Woods will drive, now pass off to Perdue. Perdue on the right wing, guarded by Schreck. 13 on the shot clock for the Student Princes. Back to Perdue. Purdue still being guarded by Caldwell. He'll bounce inside to Arlano. Arlano up against Hartman, and he tries to save it in bounds, but it turns into a turnover. And now Caldwell will be called for stepping out of bounds on the near side. So Caldwell will give the ball to the referee on the near side. Could have been a run-out opportunity right there for Capital offensively, but instead it goes back to Heidelberg. Nakai Taylor, a little bit of a homecoming for this young man from Columbus, Ohio. Went to Groveport, Madison back during his prep days. As they're giving an explanation to Andy Buhai and head coach Damon Goodwin about why it is Heidelberg ball after Caldwell seemingly stepped out of bounds. Woods, top of the arc. He'll drive down the middle. He lost it. And Dosick comes up with a loose ball for Capital. Griffin across half court. Up to Schreck. Schreck down the lane, and he scores. 4-3 lead for Capital. Nice fast break right there by Capital as they were able to push it up the court. And Schreck finishing at the other end. 4-3 in favor of Capital. 17:03 to go in the first half. Arlano, right wing. Oh, almost poked away by Schreck. Instead of three-pointer. That is off the mark, and the rebound is taken by Hartman. He'll feed ahead to Schreck. Dosick will drive in. Bucket won't fall, but he will go to the line, and the foul will be called on Alex Arlano.
Heidelberg foul. 32, Alex Arlano, his first, team's first. And the line shooting 2 for Capital.
So now Dosick will head to the foul line. Makes his first. Increases the Capital lead to 2. Gets one more chance at the foul line. And that barely grazes front rim right there. It'll remain 5-3. 16:45 remaining in the first half. And so far, offense for Capital looking a little better. They had a long practice this morning with Coach Goodwin trying to get everything right on that side of the ball. Meanwhile, loose ball. Everybody dives on it. And now, let's see what the call is going to be. It's going to be a jump ball. Nakai Taylor was the one who seemingly got it back for Heidelberg, but they call jump ball. Possession arrow favors Capital. Therefore, it'll be Crusaders basketball. But now, a timeout's going to be taken. We'll keep it right here at the Capital Center. It's only a 30-second timeout. 16:26 remain in the first half. It is Capital leading Heidelberg 5-3. Let's go ahead and get to tonight's keys to the game. And there are a couple here that are going to be very important for Capital as they try to get revenge against Heidelberg tonight. Key number 1, got to have better shot selection. Capital's got to be able to work it inside more, get the big men involved offensively. They can't settle for three-pointers, and they need better spacing. The better the shot selection, the more likely they're going to score a lot of points here tonight against Heidelberg. Second, they got to force someone, not with the last name Arlano or Woods, to beat you offensively, and they cannot give up the middle of the lane. That's what Coach Goodwin said really killed them when it came to defending Heidelberg. And finally, got to take care of the basketball. Can't give Heidelberg extra possessions. 17 turnovers last night. That is not going to do. Nice cut by Joe Hartman as he was able to get to the 10 for 2 more. And so far, the spacing, the shot selection has looked pretty dang good for Capital so far in this game. It's added up to a 7-3 lead so far. Ball poked away. Here comes Combs. Combs across half court. He'll settle for a jumper. That's off the mark, and the rebound is taken by Heidelberg Seth Homan. Good idea, however, by Carter Combs, the freshman from Cincinnati. He's been pretty impressive for Capital so far. Coach Goodwin definitely likes his confidence, particularly on the offensive side. Woods over to Nakai Taylor. Now back over to Dylan Woods on the right wing, guarded by Cam Caldwell. Homan driving. Ball poked away, and Schreck comes up with a turnover. Dosick across half court. He will drive, and he will throw it. No, not throw it away. And Combs gets fouled by Nakai Taylor. Kind of thought that, at least for a moment, Dosick would have been better served just to try to take it to the rack that time, but he decided to pass out of it. Nearly led to a turnover, but it's still Capital basketball. Substitutions for Heidelberg now is Zane Lightwine and Logan West Holmes check in for the Student Princes. Schreck, meanwhile, to Dosick. Top of the arc. Griffin trying to go down the lane, but he's cut off to Schreck, and Schreck has it blocked. But Capital maintains possession. Nice job getting the loose ball. And now a Heidelberg foul will go against Dylan Woods.
Dylan Woods, his first team's third.
Third team foul of the half against Heidelberg. So now Caldwell will inbound it from the near side. He'll get it into Dosick. Back to Cam. Caldwell, top of the arc, dribbling to his left. Caldwell looking over the defense, bounces it inside to Joe. Joe, couple power dribbles, fighting his way through, and another foul will be called against Heidelberg. Looks like the foul will go against Nakai Taylor.
His second team's fourth.
14th foul on Heidelberg this half, and now Joe Hartman. Native of Cincinnati, Ohio, will head to the free throw line, switches the first one. Substitution now for Heidelberg as Nate Stibe, the freshman out of Gahanna, Ohio, nearby suburb of Columbus. Former Lincoln High School Lion. He's in for the Student Princes. Hartman, meanwhile, knocks down the second. And he will promptly head to the bench as Reed Bradfield will check into the game for the first time tonight for Capital. 9-3 lead for Capital. 14:53 remaining here in the first half. Now a little bit of pressure for Capital, but Heidelberg is able to break it. Lightwine, double team, passes out of it to Stibe. Now Heidelberg will look to get something going here in the half court. Stibe trying to go down the lane, but he'll back out, eventually pass it back to Woods. Now it's in the hands of Lightwine. Lightwine dribbling to his right, back to Stibe. Stibe trying to go baseline, cut off by Schreck, and another turnover. Here comes Combs. Combs trying to go down the lane, but too many Heidelberg bodies. Back out to Caldwell. Cam passes out of it. Schreck, meanwhile, will be called for a charge as he was trying to drive against Nate Stibe.
Capital offensive foul, 12, Tyler Schreck.
That'll be the second team foul on Capital this half. 9-3 lead for the Crusaders. 14-17 remaining in the first half. And the offense has really looked a lot better. Capital has yet to shoot a three in this game, but I'm sure that's going to come in due time at some point. Meanwhile, Woods, he'll try a three. And it's no good. Grabbed out of the air by Schreck. Pushes it ahead to Combs. Combs, he'll try a trifecta. And doesn't get anything. And then there's a fight for the ball. It'll be a jump ball, and they'll give it to Heidelberg. Meanwhile, for Capital, checking in for the Crusaders, Trey Meister.
Substitution for Capital, number 4, Trey
The
Mason.
sophomore from Taylor Mill, Kentucky. And Heidelberg will also make a substitution as well as Emmanuel Purdue will check back into the game,
Substitution
along with Alex Arlano. 9-3 lead for Capital, 13:55 left to play in the first half.
and 32, Alex Arlano.
14 fouls for Heidelberg, 2 team fouls for Capital, as looks like the offense is starting to come alive. The first couple of games, spacing hadn't been too good, and Capital was really searching for answers on that side of the ball. Nice defensive block that time as Bradfield was able to poke that one away. Back over to Schreck now on the other side. Schreck, right wing, trying to pass out of it. Dosick nearly lost it, but grabs it. Back over to Schreck. Tyler in the corner. Over to Trey. Now to Cam. Cam, he'll try to drive down the lane. Twisting, turning, jumper, no good. Rebound taken by Heidelberg's Nate Stibe. So now the Student Princes will be coming the other way, trying to cut into this 9-3 Crusader lead. Emmanuel Purdue inside, and that shot is missed by Lightwine. Boy, he missed it point blank. Couldn't get that one to go. Bradfield, top of the arc, over to Meister. Meister passing over to Schreck. Schreck thought about getting it inside to Bradfield, but he was covered. Three-pointer now for Dosick. That's an air ball, and it will go out of bounds off of Bradfield, and it'll be Heidelberg basketball.
Number 1, David Sanford.
Now David Sanford will check in. Sanford, the former Division I product. As another substitution is made by Capital. This time Keandre Graves will check in for Capital. For those of you wondering about Sanford used to attend the University of Cincinnati, but the Springfield, Ohio native elected to leave UC and transfer in here to Capital. As Eric Hanning checks in for Heidelberg. 12:45 remaining in the first half. Capital leading Heidelberg 9-3. This is a presentation of Crusaders men's basketball here on athletics.capital.edu, and we're glad to have you along for the ride. Stibe drives, misses the shot. Nice defense by Sanford, and the rebound taken by Capital. Sanford to Bradfield. Now over to Schreck. Over to Meister. Trey for three. That's no good, and the rebound is taken by Heidelberg's Eric Panning. Stibe near the top of the arc, being guarded by Stanford. Three-pointer on the way. That's no good for Lightwine. Rebound taken by Keandre. Inside to Bradfield. Reed trying to work against Arlano. And Arlano swats the ball away. Ball goes out of bounds, and it will stay with Capital. 17 seconds remain on the shot clock. And a substitution now for Capital as Carter Combs will check back in. Tyler Schreck, meanwhile, will take a seat on the bench. Like last game, no fans here at the Capital Center. That's going to be the case for a while. There's Combs. Pass over to Meister. Back over to Combs. Sanford thought about a three, but pulls it back. Back to Combs. 5 on the shot clock. 3 inside. Bradfield puts up the shot, and that'll lead to a shot clock violation. Man, the defense by Alex Arlano has been very, very impressive. We talked about his offensive exploits in the last game as Dylan Woods checks back in for the Student Princes, but it's been his defense tonight that's been really, really good. The problem for his team has been putting the ball in the bucket. They only got 3 points to this point. They have yet to make a three-pointer, which they were able to make in bunches in the game last night at Heidelberg. 9-3 lead for the Crusaders. 11:25 remaining in the first half. Panning passes over, and it's picked up by Bradfield. He'll come the other way, and looked a little awkward, but he was finally able to get the ball in there. I don't know if he hesitated, he was trying to go for a dunk or what, but that shot kind of looked funny. The bottom line is it found the bottom of the net, and it's now an 11-3 lead for Capital. Arlano, spin move, lost the ball. Now it's back out to Stibe. Now over to Woods. Woods in the corner, being guarded by Sanford. Trying to dribble down the lane. Tough shot for Woods, and he gets it to rattle home. 11-5 lead for Capital, 10:43 left to play, and it's been a fast-moving first half so far. Sanford to Combs. Over to Keandre Graves. Graves on the right wing. Drops it off to Bradfield. Back out to Sanford. Sanford, long three. That is no good, and boy, Capital is having a hard time hitting the rim on these three-point attempts, let alone making them. That now might be the third air ball that we've seen from a Capital shooter on three-pointers tonight, as Cam Caldwell will check back in and David Sanford will check out. Seth Homan also checking back in for Heidelberg. 11-5 lead for Capital, 10:20 left to play in our first half. Woods being guarded by Caldwell. He'll bring it across half court for Heidelberg. Woods thought about going down the lane. Still working against Caldwell. Stibe for three. That is no good. And it will stay with Heidelberg as Meister was trying to box out Arlano that time. And now a couple substitutions for Capital as Griffin Dosick and Tyler Schreck check back in for the Crusaders. Meister and Keandre Graves take a seat for Capital. And now a foul will be called against Capital. Emmanuel Perdue nearly lost that one for Heidelberg.
Capital foul on the floor, 13, Carter Combs.
Carter Combs will be hit with the foul for Capital. That's the third team foul on the Crusaders. Woods will be the trigger man. Gets it inbounds to Stibe. Stibe has it blocked away by Dosick. Here comes Griffin the other way. Griffin will now slow things up. Over to Combs. Combs will try a three, and he'll knock it down. Carter Combs finally knocks down a three-pointer for Capital. It's a 14-5 lead for the Crusaders. 9:45 left to play in the first half. And now the Capital bench starting to really feel some energy. This has been a great start offensively for Capital, but more importantly, they've been able to hold this Heidelberg offense in check. Dylan Woods almost lost it, but then a late foul called against Tyler Schreck. That'll be the 14th foul on Capital. And Meister will check in for the Crusaders as Tyler Schreck will now take a seat. Each team with 4 fouls. 9:25 left to play in the first half. Capital up by 9, 14-5. As Heidelberg continues to search for answers here offensively. It's been a struggle for him. Floater down the lane. That is no good for Purdue. Rebound taken by Dosick. And now they try to feed it ahead to Caldwell, but he got tipped around. Combs keeps it alive. Now to Cam. Caldwell nearly lost it. Jumper. That's off the mark. Rebound taken by Heidelberg's Dylan Woods. Head coach Damon Goodwin wanted to see Cam Caldwell be a little more disciplined with the basketball. Turnovers have been a bugaboo for Cam as of late, as the jumper's knocked down by Dylan Woods, making the Capital lead 7 with 8:40 left to play here in the first half. Caldwell to Meister, and boy, that was one big miscommunication right there, as Meister was clearly not expecting the pass. And now checking in for Capital will be David Sanford. 14-7 lead for the Crusaders as we approach 8.5 to play in our first half. It's been a low-scoring affair between both of these teams, but luckily for Capital, their defense has really shined. And Heidelberg, they've had a lid on their basket for much of this half, the way they've been shooting it. And now a traveling violation will be called against Nakai Taylor. So another turnover for the Student Princes. Sanford, meantime, passing it over to Combs. Combs to Meister. Back over to Combs. Combs inside, tried to get it to Hartman, tipped around, and then it's thrown off the chest of Griffin Dosick. So that will lead to it being Heidelberg ball, and Dosick just has no choice but just to walk away.
Heidelberg substitution re-entering 3, Zane Lightwine.
Zane Lightwine checks back in for Heidelberg. As Capital will have to D up here once again. 14-7 lead for Capital. 8:03 left to play in our first half. Woods on the right wing. Passing off to Nakai Taylor. Back to Woods. Woods dribbles to his right. Now over to Homan. Homan will try to go baseline. Whips a pass in the middle, and the layup is converted by Zane Lightwine. 14-9 lead now for Capital as we tick under 8 minutes. And a turnover. Real advice pass right there by Trey Meister as Arellano was able to easily pick that one off. Now it's over to Woods. Turnovers are allowing Heidelberg to slowly but surely get back into this game. Woods trying to go down the lane. Can't get the shot to go, but he was fouled by Sanford. And so Dylan Woods, who had 21 in the win for Heidelberg last night over Capital, he'll head to the free throw line. Woods, another native of Cincinnati, attended Cincinnati Christian High School. Have a lot of Cincinnati natives between both of these teams. You can find a lot of quality basketball players in the Queen City, apparently. As the free throw is converted by Woods, his first. Meister will check out for Capital. Checking in for the Crusaders will be Ryan Roth. And Logan Westholmes back in for Heidelberg. One more free throw upcoming here for Woods. Woods, deep breath, shot, good. So now the Capital lead, which was as much as 9, has been trimmed to 3. And another turnover for Capital. Boy, the The spacing is just not there for the Crusaders, and these passes are turning into easy turnovers. As Hartman was trying to get that ball to Combs, but I don't know if one guy was wanting another guy to zig or zag or what, but clearly miscommunication right there.
Substitution for Capital.
As Cam Caldwell will check back in for the Crusaders, I'm sure that this recent stretch of basketball is not doing any favors for Coach Goodwin's heart pressure. So now Woods will bring the ball up the court with a chance to possibly tie this game. It's been a while since Heidelberg has had a lead. You have to go all the way back to the beginning of the game when they were leading 3-2, about a minute and a half in. Lightwine passing it off. Now a three-pointer jacked up and knocked down by Emmanuel Purdue. We are all tied at 14, 6:40 left to play in the first half. Does Capital have an answer? Can they stop this run by Heidelberg? Caldwell, Combs, three, way off the mark. And it will be Heidelberg basketball after yet another air ball from a Capital three-point shooter. And another timeout, but this will be of the 30-second variety. So we'll keep things right here at the Capitol Center. 6:28 remaining in the first half. 14-14 game between the Crusaders and the Student Princes. What if you could take a college course that not only required textbooks, but courage, determination, as well as a good pair of boots? A course that would lead directly to a career as a leader, not an intern or assistant. Ready to become a student and a leader? Well then, enroll in Capital University Army ROTC. You can get a full tuition scholarship, and you'll graduate a leader and an officer in the U.S. Army. To learn more about Capital Army ROTC, call 614-236-6808 for more information. That's 614-236-6808, or visit www.capital.edu/ROTC to learn more information about the Capital University Army ROTC. Team fouls. Capital's got 5. Heidelberg's got 4. We got ourselves a tied ball game here, 14-14. After being up by as much as 9, Heidelberg's been able to get back into this game thanks to some ill-advised turnovers by Capital offensively. A drive and a kick. A three-pointer way off the mark by Lightwine, but the offensive rebound is grabbed by Emmanuel Purdue. Another possession for Heidelberg, and the three-pointer makes Capital pay that time as it's knocked down by Seth Homan. First lead of the night for Heidelberg in a long time, up by 3, 17-14, 5:45 left to play in the first half. Caldwell over to Hartman, bounced over to Combs, inside, Cam trying to back his man down, back outside, Dosick for 3, and Griffin knocks it down. We're knotted at 17. Much better offensive possession that time by Capital, better spacing, better shot selection right there as Dosick able to bury the 3 from the top of the arc. Purdue over to Woods, back to Woods, Woods, deep 3. That'll be off the mark, and the rebound taken by Capital's Joe Hartman. Caldwell pushes it, Combs will go down the lane, and another turnovers that will go off the hands of Dosick. I think he was wanting Combs to drive to the ball instead of passing it off, as a layup is converted on the other end by Seth Homan. Heidelberg back in front by 2, 19-17, 4:47 left to play in the first half. Combs, top of the arc, over to Caldwell. Cam passing off to Griffin. Dosick dribbling to his left, now over to Rock. 10 on the shot clock for the Crusaders. They'll go inside to Caldwell. Caldwell backs his man down and gets fouled. Looks like the foul will be on Heidelberg's Logan West Holmes. He slapped Caldwell on the arm, and now Cam will head to the foul line.
At the line for Capital 30, Cameron Caldwell.
First of 2 foul shots here for Cam. The shot is up and it is good. Mass substitutions for both teams. Reed Bradfield, Trey Meister, and Tyler Schreck check back in for Capital. Meanwhile, for Heidelberg, Nate Stibe, Arlano will check back in, as well as Zane Lightwine. One more free throw for Caldwell as he attempts to tie this game at 19. The shot is up, and it is good. We're knotted at 19. Under 4.5 to play in our first half. Both teams not exactly shooting at a great clip. Heidelberg 35%, Capital 33%. Arlano looking for some help. Over to Stibe now. Stibe passing it over to Purdue. Purdue, he'll try to go baseline. Tough pass, threw it right to Caldwell. Here comes Cam. Cam across half court. Schreck, jumper from the right elbow. That's no good, and the rebound is taken by Arlano. Stibe will now bring it across half court. Guarded by Caldwell as we tick under 3:45 here in the first half. Tie game 19-19 between the Student Princes and the Crusaders. Lightwine, back over to Arlano. Arlano, three from the left wing, no good, and the rebound taken by Tyler Schreck. Tyler Schreck across half court to Cam. Caldwell, he'll try a three, and he'll knock it down. Cam Caldwell finds Nylon from the right wing. He'll give Capital a 3-point lead with 3:17 left to play in the first half. Purdue on the right wing. Dribbles inside, jumper from the foul line, and a late foul called against Reed Bradfield.
Capital foul number 2, Reed Bradfield is first.
Coach Damon Goodwin telling Reed to just be straight up with the body that time, but too much body hit Purdue. And now he'll head to the foul line for a couple of foul shots. Left-hander misses the first. Subs for Heidelberg is Nakai Taylor. Dylan Woods will check back in along with Seth Homan. One more foul shot for the left team, Purdue. It's up, and it's good. Cuts the Capital lead to 2. 3 minutes. 3 minutes left to play in the first half. 22-20 lead for Capital. Caldwell goes inside to Dosick near the foul line. Griffin trying to dribble around, passes out to Meister. Pump fake, Trey. He'll let loose a three. Nothing but net. Trey Meister. Actually, take that back. Foot was on the line. It was only a 2-pointer. Still, good shot by Trey. And it's now a 24-20 lead for Capital as we rapidly approach 2.5 to play in the first half. Dylan Woods, top of the arc. Dribbles inside and missed shot by Homan. Another point-blank miss by Heidelberg offensively. Here comes Capital the other way. Bradfield near the right block. He'll try to go baseline. Tough pass. Dosick from the corner. No good. But the loose ball is gathered up by Tyler Schreck. Meister trying to go inside but couldn't get it to Dosick. Arlano up ahead to Purdue. Purdue gets the bucket to go.
At the basket in the foul. Number 11, Emmanuel Purdue, Heidelberg.
And now Dylan Woods will head to the foul line.
Capital 30, Cameron Caldwell is first.
As Carter Combs will check in for Capital.
The Crusader substitution is 13, Carter Combs. At the line,
Emmanuel Purdue will head to the foul line
shooting one.
for the and one situation. Purdue's shot is up, no good, and the rebound taken by Tyler Schreck. Under 2 minutes to play in the first half, Capital clinging to a 24-22 lead. Caldwell. Over to Combs, back to Caldwell, now to Schreck. In the hands of Bradfield. Oh, and another turnover for Capital. Boy, the TOs are really starting to pile up for the purple and white as the three-pointer off the mark by Nakai Taylor. Up ahead to Dosick and too far. Joe Hartman and Keandre Graves will check back in for Capital along with Trey Meister.
Also in for the Crusaders, number 4, Trey Meister.
Heidelberg's been able to get 11 points off of turnovers tonight. And the turnovers continue to rack up for Capital. They got 12 here in this first half. They had 17 in the blowout loss at Heidelberg. Got to get that trend reversed. Three-pointer off the mark by Purdue. And now a foul will be called against Heidelberg. This one going against Woods as he was trying to grab for the ball along with Capital's Cam Caldwell. It's now the 16th foul on Heidelberg. Capital, they got 7. So Heidelberg will be in the bonus here. Checking in for Heidelberg is Nate Stibe. As they're cleaning up a wet spot on the floor. Minute 17 remaining here in the first half. Capital looking to go into the locker room with momentum. Both teams not shooting the ball all that well from the field. 32% for Heidelberg, 36% for Capital. And boy, I'll tell you this, both teams are not doing themselves any favors from the three-point line. Capital only 3 of 9 from downtown. Heidelberg worse, 2 of 11 from beyond the arc. Combs for 3. That's no good, and that's not going to help the three-point shooting percentage either for Capital, as the rebound is taken by Nikai Taylor. Stibe will bring it across the timeline. Under a minute to go in the first half. 24-22 lead for Capital. Inside to Arlano. Arlano twisting, turning, lost the ball, but Heidelberg is able to recover. 10 on the shot clock. Stibe, he'll let loose a 3. No good. Rebound taken by Capital's Joe Hartman. And now another careless turnover by Capital, as Combs crazily whipped it over to the near side to Cam. Cam was not able to get to the pass. And a lot of people on the court, on the Capital bench, just saying, slow down. We got this. We just need to slow down and concentrate a little more. Can't keep having these erratic turnovers. Purdue trying to drive to the foul line. Purdue, wild shot, no good. Another rebound by Joe Hartman. And now head coach Damon Goodwin's just saying, just wait. Let's run our offense. Shot clock will be turned off here. 11 seconds, 10 seconds. Combs has it poked away by Purdue, but it'll stay with Capital. 6 seconds remain on the clock. Capital looking to add to its 2-point lead before they head to the locker room for halftime. But first, a substitution, as Griffin Dosick will check in for Keandre Graves. Caldwell will inbound it from the far side. Into Hartman. Joe dribbling to his right. To Meister. Trey loses it. Arlano lets loose a deep 3, and it's no good. Halftime here at the Capital Center. It's Capital 24, Heidelberg 22. Coming up, the Capital University Army ROTC halftime show. We'll check the stats, get you updated with scores around the OAC, and much more. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, athletics.capital.edu.
I wanted to fly. They said I couldn't. So I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me. So I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words: jukebox, bling, Google. And I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt. So I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world.
Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Welcome into the Capital University Army ROTC halftime show. At the half, Capital leading Heidelberg by a score of 24-22. What if you could take a college course that not only required textbooks, but courage, determination, and a good pair of boots? A course that would lead directly to a career as a leader, not an intern or assistant. Ready to become a student and a leader? Enroll in Capital University Army ROTC. You can get a full tuition scholarship, and you'll graduate a leader and an officer in the United States Army. To learn more about Army ROTC, call 614-236-6808 for more information. That is 614-236-6808, or visit www.capital.edu/ROTC to learn more information about the Capital University Army ROTC. Well, as I mentioned at the half, it's Capital leading Heidelberg 24-22, and to say that this game has been ugly from an offensive standpoint, that's kind of an understatement. Both teams not shooting the ball all that well from the field as we take a look at the team stats. Heidelberg shooting under 30% from the field. Capital not that much better at 35%. And it's been even more ugly from beyond the arc. Heidelberg has gone 2 of 12 from downtown. That's good for only 17%. Capital, meanwhile, 3 of 10 from three-point range, good for 30%. Free throws. Both teams have gone to the free throw line a total of 6 times. Heidelberg has made 4 of their shots from the cherry stripe, Capital 5. Heidelberg 67% from the cherry stripe, Capital 83%. Rebounds. Capital has a +6 advantage in that category, 20-14 in favor of the Crusaders. Defensive rebounds, Capital leading in that one 17-12. Other statistics of note in this game, Capital with 5 assists, Heidelberg with 2. Turnovers were once again an issue for Capital. After turning the ball over 17 times in their blowout loss at Heidelberg, they already got 14 in this game. Heidelberg, not that much better taking care of the basketball, as they have got 9. Bench points, not a lot of bench points between both the teams. Capital 4, Heidelberg 2. Blocks, Heidelberg's got 4, 3 of them by Alex Arlano. 2 blocks for Capital as a team. Fast break points, Capital 4, Heidelberg 2. Steals, Capital 8, Heidelberg 5. Points off turnovers are just about even. Heidelberg leading in that category 11-8. Points in the paint, just about even as well. Heidelberg with a slight edge, 10-8 in that one. Second chance points, Heidelberg 3, Capital 2. And that's about it when it comes to team statistics in this particular game. Now on to the individual statistics. Let us begin with Heidelberg. Seth Homan leads the way for the Student Princes. He's got 8 points. Emmanuel Perdue, he's got 6. Dylan Woods has got 6 points, and 2 points for Zane Lightwine, and that's it. Only 4 players are able to score at least 2 points in that first half for Heidelberg. Pretty amazing that Alex Arlano, who dropped 23 in the big Heidelberg win over Capital last night, he has no points in this game. Very surprising that the big man has not been able to get it going offensively. He has gone 0 of 2 from the field, 0 of 1 from three-point range as well. So you got to like that if you're Capital, because Arlano, boy, he was able to have his way offensively with the Crusaders last night. Meanwhile, for Capital, leading scorer for the Crusaders is Griffin Dosick. He's got 6 points, 5 points for Cam Caldwell, 4 points for Joe Hartman, 3 points for Carter Combs, and then 2 points each for Tyler Schreck, Reed Badfield, and Trey Meister. Capital's got to find that alpha dog that will take over here offensively, because especially late in the first half, Capital had a very hard time taking care of the basketball, not enough spacing, clear miscommunication between the passer and the guy that the pass was supposed to go to. Capital's got a lot to sort out here during halftime, and hopefully that will allow them to possibly expand this lead that they got here at halftime. Remember, it was Heidelberg who was able to get the big jump on Capital immediately coming out of the halftime locker room, led it half by 7, and then thanks to that great start offensively, after halftime, Heidelberg was able to turn that into a blowout win over the Crusaders. Let's now take a look at some scores around the OAC tonight. Busy slate around the conference, and we actually have, let's see if I'm reading this right. Yep, we have a final to pass along to you. Earlier today, it was Mount Union defeating Ohio Northern by a score of 94-72. Mount Union now a perfect 3-0 in OAC play. All 5 of the Purple Raiders starters scored in double figures. They were led offensively by Colin Gurley, who played all 40 minutes, scored 24 points to go along with 9 rebounds. So a near double-double that time for Colin Gurley, as the Purple Raiders have come out smoking to begin the 2021 campaign. So there's a final for you. Elsewhere around the conference, Baldwin-Wallace playing host to Marietta. And they're just about to start the second half of that game. Baldwin-Wallace leading Marietta in that one by a score of 49-39. Jake Snyder leading the way for the Yellow Jackets. He's got 12 points. Mason Leidick, meanwhile, he's got 8 points for the Pioneers. Other games taking place around the OAC. Wilmington playing host to Muskingum tonight. Muskingum, a team that Capital split a pair of games with last week. And right now it's the Quakers leading the Fighting Muskies 44-33 in that one. Wilmington being led offensively by Bilal Sow and Matt Smith, who each have 8 points. Trey Singleton leading the way offensively for Muskingum. He has got 12 points. And finally, a couple of games that got canceled today. Otterbein continues to wait to play basketball. They have had some COVID issues at their school. They were supposed to play Ohio Northern today, but their game got rearranged. And John Carroll was also not able to play today due to COVID-19 concerns. Remember, if a game is canceled for whatever reason, COVID related or not, that game will not be able to be made up. It will just go down as a no contest. So try to get those games in as much as you can, guys, and we'll see what happens by the time we get to the OAC tournament at the beginning of March. When we come back, we'll review our keys to the game and get you ready for the second half of this one. At the half, it is Capital leading Heidelberg 24-22. You are listening to the Capital University Army ROTC halftime show.
This is a message for all those MBA seekers out there. For the junior exec who'd rather be senior. For the VP yearning to be CEO. And for everyone who'd call their job not just a profession, but a passion. Capital University's MBA program was built exclusively for professionals, experienced faculty, flexible schedules, and classmates you'll soon consider colleagues. Learn more at capital.edu/MBA. The Capital University MBA, for those driven to do more.
Capital University presents The Good Guarantee. The Good Guarantee promises families who work for nonprofits or in public service will never have to pay more than 50% tuition based on their total amount of financial aid. This includes your talent, merit, and need-based aid. You can live on campus or at home, it's renewable for up to 8 semesters, and you can study any major and minor. Current students can apply too. You qualify if you or your spouse or your parent or guardian work for a nonprofit or public service organization and you are a full-time undergrad. Because we want to create purposeful people, courageous community, and hopeful humanity. The world needs more good. The world needs you. You invest in others, we invest in you. For more information, visit capital.edu/good-guarantee.
Welcome back to the Capitol Center. We are a couple of minutes away from beginning second half action here in Bexley. Score at the half, Capital 24, Heidelberg 22. Let's go ahead and review our keys to the game. Well, the first key that I brought up was Capital having better shot selection. And, well, you can't have good shot selection if you keep turning the ball over, which I'll get to in just a moment. But at the beginning of the game, it seemed as though the Capital was doing a nice job of getting out in transition, getting easy buckets, throwing smart passes down the court, barreling towards the bucket. That was all well and good. But then I think Heidelberg was able to make some really good adjustments defensively, not letting those guys just blow on by them to the hoop, really making Capital pass it around the perimeter more than they would like to instead of dumping it into their big men. So better spacing is definitely needed for Capital. And the way the three-point shooting has been going tonight, I'll tell you this right now. If Capital intends to win this game tonight, they got to get the big guys involved. They got to start pounding it inside, because the way the three-point shooting is going tonight for the Crusaders, it's not been effective for Capital. They have got to get good looks at the hoop and try to enforce themselves in the paint. Second key of the game, for someone not with the last name Arlano or Woods to beat offensively. Well, Arlano, he's had a pretty quiet night. About as quiet as you can get, in fact, as he has 0 points after a 23-point outburst against Capital last night. That might have more to do with the fact that Arlano has been a little bit more passive than what I've seen from him the last couple of years. Woods, meanwhile, he's only got 6 points. He's shooting 2 of 5 from the field, and he's gone 0 of 3 from three-point range. So Capital's been doing a nice job of keeping those two guys in check defensively. Hopefully they can keep that up here in the second half. The third, final key, and boy, this is an important one. It sounds simple, but this has been a struggle for Capital so far this year. Taking care of the basketball. Capital had 13 turnovers in that first half. They turned the ball over 17 times last night against Heidelberg. They're on pace to more than double that. The way that this game has been going when it comes to turning the ball over for Capital. If I'm head coach Damon Goodwin, you got to really preach to your guys. Slow down. Don't do anything furious. Capital doesn't need to be like the Showtime Lakers of the 80s where they're constantly pushing the ball up the floor. Make smart decisions with the basketball. Don't be afraid to pull it out. And when a guy is ready for the pass it to him. Can't have any more of these miscommunications in this game tonight. Otherwise, Capital is looking dead in the face of a 1-3 start in OAC play, and they're not going to be feeling too good this upcoming week as they continue on with this rather interesting 2021 season format. The good news at the moment, Capital's got the lead, 24-22, coming out of half. So now they have a chance to build on here in these opening minutes. That has been the Capital University Army ROTC halftime show, and we're ready for the second half here at the Capital Center. By the way, I want to thank all of the frontliners, the people working in the hospitals, anybody in the medical field that is in the fight against COVID-19. More and more people are starting to get the vaccine. The levels are starting to drop here in Columbus, here in the state of Ohio. So hopefully that trend can continue. Until then, folks, keep on fighting that good fight, keeping us healthy. We thank you so much for what you do for us on a daily basis in our fight against the COVID-19 virus. Thank you very much. Second half underway. Capital will begin with the ball offensively. Let's see if Capital can make some adjustments here offensively. Had a 2-point lead, but boy, got really sloppy taking care of the basketball. Combs driving the lane. Floater. Count the bucket and a foul. That's a nice start for Capital offensively right there as Carter Combs got fouled on the floater, and now he will head to the foul line to try to complete the 3-point play. The foul will go against Seth Homan. First team foul of the half against Heidelberg, as Combs will step to the free throw line, a high school graduate of Lakota West High School. The shot is up and good for Combs, and it is now a 5-point lead for Capital, 27-22. Capital now pressuring. Woods double teamed. Just got it away as Arlano gets it over to Taylor. Taylor down the lane, has his shot blocked by Schreck and then taken away by Tyler. He'll feed it ahead to Dosick. Dosick will not finish on the other end as he couldn't complete the layup. As Arlano grabs the board for Heidelberg. Boy, that would have been Big play right there for Capital. If Dosick had been able to convert on the other end, but it stays a 5-point lead for Capital. 27-22 just underway here in the second half. Arlano, right wing, working against Hartman. Ball poked away. Here comes Schreck. Up ahead to Combs. Combs inside to Hartman. To a cutting Schreck. Can't lay it up and in. Poked in by Dosick, but no, he can't get it to go actually. Just didn't get enough glass on the shot, did Dosick. And it remains a 5-point lead for Capital. Woods, meanwhile, right wing for Heidelberg. Dribbling to his right. Woods spinning. Now it's rotate around to Purdue. Purdue step back three and nothing but net for Emmanuel Purdue, the junior out of Shaker Heights, Ohio, near Cleveland. It's back to a 2-point advantage for Capital, 27-25. Tyler Schreck will try to back his man down, that being Akai Taylor. Schreck working inside, back out to Dosick. Dosick, double team, out to Combs for three. Combs knocks it down. 6 points in this second half for Carter Combs. The freshman wonderkin continues to do it offensively for the Crusaders. Back up by 5 is Capital. Arlano, top of the arc, over to Taylor. Taylor, double team by Hartman and Combs. Passes out of it, swung around the perimeter. Purdue for three. That's no good. Woods can't handle it, and it settles into the hands of Hartman. Schreck to Cam. Caldwell for three. Cam knocks it down from the right wing, and now a timeout is called by Andy Buhai of Heidelberg. Oh, what a scintillating start offensively for Capital here in the second half. And this will be a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it here at the Capital Center. 17-24 remaining in the second half. Capital with its second largest lead of the game, up by 8, 33-25. Boy, what a half it has been so far for Carter Combs. And one, as he got fouled hitting a floater down the lane, knocked down a three. Cam Caldwell making a long distance call from downtown. Capital looking much better here offensively. And so now they've put together a run. Now what does Heidelberg do as a response? They'll have the ball coming out of this timeout. Emmanuel Purdue, the junior out of Shaker Heights, Ohio, will inbound it for the Student Princes. And Capital definitely stepping up their pressure. As the inbound will go to Taylor. Taylor, cross half court. Taylor to Arlano, inside, and the layup converted by Dylan Woods. 33-27 lead for Capital. As we tick towards 17 minutes to play in the second half, still a long way to go in this game. Dosick over to Hartman, swung around the Combs. Combs inside to Hartman. Joe up, no good, but he did get fouled. And now the foul will go against Arlano. Arlano raising his palms to the sky. What did I do? What did I do? And now Hartman will head to the foul line. Used to be Joe Hartman wore the jersey number 40, but the big man instead made the switch to double ones, number 11. So now Hartman, the right-handed shooter, will head to the foul line. No good on the first attempt. One more free throw upcoming for Hartman. 33-27 lead for Capital. As the Crusaders trying to push it to 7 here. Hartman shot, up, and good. 34-27. Capital with the 7-point advantage. 16:45 left to play in our second half. So far, much better on the offensive side if you're Capital. Doing a much better job of taking care of the ball and getting better shots, both inside and outside. Purdue, guarded by Hartman. Swung all the way around to Woods. Woods trying to get it inside, but Arlano was held, looked like by Hartman. Actually, that foul will go against Griffin Dosick. It'll be the team's first foul of the half, 2 already for Heidelberg. Meantime, Woods over to Taylor. Taylor down the lane, Twisting, turning. Oh, nice up and under by Taylor as he got his man up in the air, and he drops two. 34-29 lead for Capital. 16:08 to play. Shrek. Over to Combs. Combs down the baseline. Dosick nearly lost it. Back inside. Hartman drives and can't get the layup to go. Rebound Heidelberg. Taylor drives down the lane. Kick out. Three-pointer for Purdue, and he knocks it down. Oh, too easy. Too easy, and Damon Goodwin, smart right here, calling a timeout. This is going to be a full timeout by Capital, so we'll step aside as well. 15:40 left to play in the second half. Capital 34, Heidelberg 32, here at athletics.capital.edu.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
Back here at the Capitol Center, 15:40 left to play in our second half. After getting off to a good start here in the second half, stretching the lead to as much as 8. Capital now clinging to a 2-point lead, 34-32. Got to keep that consistency on the offensive side. At the beginning of this half, Capital doing a much better job of taking care of the basketball, getting the big men involved, getting some timely shots in three-point range, but now, because of some turnovers here and there, Heidelberg able to get back into this game. Toss up right now. Let's see what happens. Caldwell will bring it across half court for Capital. Swung all the way around to Combs. Caldwell has his pass kicked by Dylan Woods as Cam was trying to get that ball over to Carter on the right wing. 20 seconds on the shot clock for Capital as Combs gets it in to Shrek. Shrek looking for some help. Goes over to Griffin Dosick. Dosick passing it back over to Caldwell. Cam trying to probe that Heidelberg defense inside to Shrek. To Combs. Back over to Shrek. Caldwell. Down the lane, and he will score. Got a man up in the air with a nice pump fake, and now the Capital lead is back up to 4. Nice drive that time by Cam. 36-32. Capital with the advantage. Under 15 to play. Three-pointer, no good for Woods. Rebound taken by Capital. Dosick trying to drive forward. Inside, and Hartman just simply wasn't ready for the pass that time. Heidelberg coming the other way. And Zane Lightwine able to drive in and score for Heidelberg. Back to a 2-point advantage for Capital. 36-34, 14 and a half to play. Shrek to Hartman. Hartman back to Shrek. Tyler back outside to Combs. 11 on the shot clock. Combs dribbling around to Shrek. Back over to Combs. Long three. No good for Combs, and the rebound taken by Griffin Dosick. An extra offensive possession for Capital. Nice job by Dosick keeping that possession alive. 13 on the shot clock. Hartman over to Combs, and boy, he missed everybody by a mile that time. Reed Bradfield and Keandre Graves will check in for Capital. Nate Stibe will check in for Heidelberg. And Logan West-Helms will also check in for Heidelberg. And now Ryan Roth will check in for Capital. So it's a 2-point lead for Capital. Under 14 minutes to play. Stibe, right wing. Dribbling to his right. Stibe over to Lightwine. Lightwine over to Purdue. Purdue floater, no good, but he got fouled. Looks like the foul will be going against Keandre Graves. First foul on Braves individually, second team foul for Capital of the half. So now Purdue will head to the foul line. Purdue, the lefty, sinking the first free throw. And now Heidelberg will make another substitution. There's Eric Panning. We'll check in. Panning, a freshman from Columbus, former Westland Cougar. Shot is up and good for Purdue. And we're tied at 36. This game has all the makings of a contest that will go right down to the wire. Kind of like the season opener against Muskingum. That game, the Muskies were able to win that game on a buzzer beater in overtime. Schreck inside to Graves. Graves lost it. Another turnover for Capital. Ugh, these turnovers are really starting to pile up for Cap. And now an offensive foul called against Heidelberg.
Heidelberg offensive foul, 3, Zane Lightwine.
Lightwine was the one who got a little too crazy going down the lane that time. 13th foul on Heidelberg this half. Working on a wet spot on the court, and now David Sanford will check in for the Crusaders. Cam Caldwell will take a seat on the bench. Tied at 36. Capital shooting 37% from the field. Heidelberg shooting 38% from the field. Schreck, right wing, passing off to Graves. Graves top of the arc. Graves trying to decide what to do with the ball. Sanford now with a possession. On the right wing, over to Bradfield. Reed nearly lost it. Regathers. Bradfield back out to Sanford. Over to Schreck. And then Schreck trying to pass to the corner, but then a foul call against Heidelberg. Speaking of Heidelberg, Dylan Woods will check in for the Student Princes. Foul will go against Zane Lightwine. 14th foul on Heidelberg this half. Sanford quickly gets it in to Reed Bradfield. Over to Schreck. Schreck over to Sanford. 13 on the shot clock for Capital. Schreck. A little spin move, twisting, turning. Bradfield, long jumper, and it's good for Reed, showing off the range. And Capital reclaims the lead, 38-36, under 12 and a half to play. Woods goes top of the arc, now drilling inside against Sanford. Stibe lets loose a three and knocks it down from the right wing. Heidelberg back up by one, 39-38. Back and forth affair between the Student Princes and the Crusaders. Graves, right wing, needing some help in the worst way. Finally gets it off to Bradfield. Reed spinning, twisting, and can't get the bucket to go. Trying to get his own shot was Schreck, or what Schreck was trying to get Bradfield's shot. Meantime, a foul called against Nate Stibe. 15 foul for Heidelberg this half. Andy Buhai trying to argue that was over the back on that last play. But to no avail. Schreck, meantime, driving. Count the bucket and a foul. Nice drive to the hoop by Tyler Schreck. He just blew on past Emmanuel Purdue and said, "Thank you very much. I'll take two more of these." So now Alex Arlano will check back in for Heidelberg. In the meantime, Schreck has some business to attend to as he will try to complete the and one. His shot is up and no good. And Graves is able to dig it out for Capital. Nice offensive rebound by Keandre. Roth for three. Roth knocks it down from the left wing. Oh boy, what a big play right there. First by Graves, getting the offensive board, and then the three-pointer knocked down by Ross. So confidence starting to build for Capital here offensively. They now lead 43-39, under 11 and a half to play. Steib loses his footing and then gets it out to Purdue. Saving the possession for Heidelberg. Purdue will drive. Tough shot. And a blocking foul is going to be called against Capital. Looks like it's going to go against Keandre Graves. That'll be Capital's 13th foul of the half. So once again, Emmanuel Purdue will head to the foul line. Purdue has had himself a nice night tonight. He's got 13 points. And it will stay that way after the missed free throw. Ross Homan will check in for Heidelberg as well as Nakai Taylor. One more free throw upcoming for Mr. Purdue. And the shot's no good. Wow, Purdue goes over from the foul line. 43-39 lead for Capital. 11:07 to play. Sanford receives the pass from Schreck. Now over to Bradfield near the top of the arc. Skipped over to Sanford into the corner. Sanford dribbling out of trouble. Sanford still trying to decide. Bradfield, long jumper. That's no good, and the rebound is taken by Nakai Taylor. Dylan Woods will slowly but surely bring the ball up the court for Heidelberg as they look to cut into this 43-39 Capital lead. Woods over to Arlano. Arlano driving and then foul. Foul will go against Reed Bradfield, team's fourth.
Team's fourth of the half.
Now inbounding it will be Dylan Woods. Woods trying to find someone, anyone, and the ball is picked off by Schreck. He'll give it ahead to Roth. Roth heading down the court, and his shot is blocked by Purdue. Schreck gets it back, however. A fresh offensive possession for Capital. Sanford down the lane, no good. Rebound taken by Purdue. Purdue trying to drive, and he got fouled by Ryan Roth. That'll be the team's fifth foul of the half.
Capital foul on the floor, 10.
Still an awesome defensive play by Schreck that time, as he was able to pick off that inbounds pass like a defensive back in football. And now a timeout is going to be taken. Looks like this will be of the 30-second variety.
30-second timeout.
So we'll keep it right here at the Cap Center. 10-17 remaining in the second half. Capital leading Heidelberg 43-39. Leading scorer for Heidelberg is Emmanuel Purdue. He's got 13. Capital, meantime, has only got one double-digit score. That'd be Cam Caldwell. He has got 10. After both teams discuss it at their respective benches, both teams return to the floor for more action. Dylan Woods will inbound it, and he will get into Arlano. Woods, long jumper, no good. Arlano, offensive board, and he gets it to go. That brings Heidelberg to within 2, 43-41. Approaching 10 minutes to play. A lot can happen in 10 minutes, let me tell you. Graves passing off to Roth. Roth, right wing, surveying the Heidelberg defense. Now over to Caldwell. Cam with 10 on the shot clock. Cam down the lane. Cam losing his footing, but gets it off to Combs for three. No good. And the rebound eventually grabbed by Holman of Heidelberg. Up ahead to Purdue. Purdue trying to put a move on Roth. Roth trying to stand his ground defensively, and Purdue gets it to go. We're tied at 43. 9:27 left to go. Caldwell. Cross half court on the right wing. Skipped over to Roth. Ryan Roth for three. No good. And the rebound's taken by Arlano. Dylan Woods, meantime, will bring it across half court. And Woods will be called for an offensive foul. Got a little too overeager with the forearm as he was trying to drive against Ryan Roth. That will result in Capital basketball. Meantime, Griffin Dosick, Trey Meister, and Joe Hartman will check back in for Capital. Tied at 43. 9:05 left to play in the second half. It's anyone's game between Heidelberg and Capital. Hartman will go inside to Caldwell, who almost lost off his foot. Dosick dribbling to his left, inside, can't get the bucket to go, but there's Hartman to clean it up. And now we have a player getting up from the floor, and Seth Holman giving one of our referees the business, saying that, hey, I got knocked in the eye socket. Can I get some help? No call on that last play, and Capital, more importantly, back up by 2. 8:40 left to play here in our second half. Emmanuel Purdue across half court, being guarded by Meister. Purdue trying to drive, cut off defensively, inside to Woods, back outside. Now back outside to Woods. Woods settles for a jumper, knocks it down, and once again, we are tied. It's been quite the affair between both of these teams. A lot of ties in this game so far. 5 of them. Caldwell near the corner. Over to Hartman. 10 on the shot clock. Fed inside to Dosick. Can't handle the pass. Another turnover for Capital. Nikai Taylor across half court. Now Heidelberg is just content running the half court offense. Being patient. Arlano trying to get going offensively. Passing off to Dylan Woods. And the ball is tipped away by Cam, but then he throws it off of one of his teammates, Trey Meister. It'll still be Heidelberg basketball. Can't fault the effort by Cam that time. It's just that he threw it off the wrong jersey.
And for the Student Princes, checking in, number 3, Zane Lightwine.
Zane Lightwine checking in for Heidelberg.
And 21, Logan West Holmes.
And Logan West Holmes will check in for Heidelberg as well. And swatted away by Schreck, and he gets the block as well. Boy, Tyler Schreck playing awesome defense for Capital tonight as he rejected the shot by Nikai Taylor. Caldwell, top of the arc. Trying to get around his man, but instead passes off to Schreck. Schreck gets his man up in the air. Schreck wanted a foul, but then Hartman is there to clean it up and put it back in. Capital back up by 2. Boy, some key offensive rebounds and putbacks as well for Joe Hartman, the senior out of Cincinnati. We tick under 7 minutes to play. A slim 2-point advantage for Capital. What does Heidelberg have here as a response? Woods, jumper. There's your response right there as he's able to knock down that floater. And we're tied at 47. Caldwell trying to probe that Heidelberg defense. Back out to Dosick. Swung around to Schreck. Schreck wanting a screen. Gets it from Hartman. Schreck over to Dosick. Back to Schreck. Tyler will let loose a 3. No good. Rebound taken by Heidelberg's Zane Lightwine. So the game will remain tied at 47 as we rapidly approach 6 minutes to go here in our second half. Woods gets fouled by Joe Hartman, and Hartman is incredulous. And I really can't blame him for his reaction, because it seemed to me that he was doing everything legally from a defensive standpoint, but not according to one of our officials. Woods immediately goes down the lane, tough jumper, no good, but he got fouled by Schreck. That'll be the 17th foul on Capital. And now Dylan Woods is starting to come alive here offensively as he will head to the foul line.
Team 7 at the line for Heidelberg, Dylan Woods.
Woods has got 12 points, dropped 21 against Capital just last night. Now he's got 13 with the made free throw as Emmanuel Purdue checks back in for Heidelberg. It's now a 1-point lead for the Student Princes with one more free throw attempt here. Woods trying to make it a 2-point ball game. The shot is up, and it is good. 49-47. Heidelberg with the 2-point lead, 6:07 to play. Hartman Fouled. And that will result in free throws. Foul will go against Logan West Holmes. 18th foul against Heidelberg, so now Hartman will head to the foul line. Both teams are in the bonus. Hartman shot up and good. So he'll earn himself one more free throw attempt. Meanwhile, Arlano will check back in for Heidelberg. Hartman trying to tie this game at 49. Shot is up. It is no good. Hartman splits the pair at the line. It remains a 1-point advantage for the Student Princes. Woods, who has awakened here offensively in the second half. Over to Purdue. Purdue's had himself a nice game. Double digits in scoring, 15 points for Emmanuel Purdue. A drive down the lane. Homan trying to spin, gets it off the glass and in. Boy, that good defense by Capital, but just better offense by Homan that time as he's able to get that one to go. A 3-point lead now for Heidelberg. Capital looking for a response offensively. Combs to Dosick. Dosick, right wing. Dosick can't get this shot to go. Schreck there for the offensive rebound, can't get his shot to go. And now a foul is called on the inside against Heidelberg. And the Heidelberg bench is not exactly in love with that call. So now Schreck will head to the foul line, looking to cut into this Heidelberg lead. It stands at 3 right now.
Number 4, Dylan Woods, his 4th, team's 9th. At the line for Capital, shooting 1-1, Tyler Schreck.
The foul will go against Dylan Woods. Schreck, meantime, hits the first. Earns himself another foul shot. Kai Taylor checks back in for Heidelberg. Schreck, shot up, and no good. 2-point lead for Heidelberg as we approach 5 minutes to play. Nakai Taylor, top of the arc being guarded by Caldwell. A kick and a 3, and let's see what it will be. Count the bucket, and then a foul will be called on the inside. Seth Homan knocking down the 3 for Heidelberg as Arlano got knocked to the court, and now Arlano will head to the foul line for free throws. So a big-time opportunity here for Heidelberg to expand the lead as Arlano heads to the foul line. Still a 1-1, makes the first. One more shot for Arlano as this lead is starting to increase a bit for Heidelberg. Shot is up and it is good. And now a timeout will be taken by Heidelberg. We'll take a timeout with them. 4:55 remaining in the second half. Heidelberg 56, Capital 49 here on athletics.capital.edu.
New vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
.455 remaining in the second half. And Heidelberg finding itself with its largest lead of the game, 56-49, a key sequence for the Student Princes moments ago. Seth Homan knocking down a three-pointer. At that exact same time, Alex Arlano knocked to the court. Foul called against Capital. So the three-pointer counted for the Student Princes, and then Arlano able to knock down 2 free throws. So 5 points in that sequence right there for Heidelberg. Could that be the tipping point in a game that has been very, very close, seemingly from beginning to end? Capital, meantime, looking to cut into this Heidelberg lead. Oh, nearly stolen away that time by Taylor. Inside, Dosick has a shot blocked from behind by Homan. Gets it back, and then Dosick will earn himself a trip to the foul line.
Heidelberg foul on 32, Alex Arlano, his third.
Alex Arlano hit with the foul for Heidelberg.
15, Griffin Dosick.
Two-shot foul, so now Dosick heading to the foul line. Shot is up, and it is good. That makes it a 6-point lead for Heidelberg. Now Dosick trying to cut it to 5. Shot is up and good. 56-51, Heidelberg with the lead under 4.5 to play. And as Capital looking to get on a little bit of a late run here to close out this game. Arlano nearly losing it that time, but gathers himself. Stibe picked up defensively by Caldwell. Stibe trying to drive, has a shot blocked by Caldwell. Goes out of bounds, and it will remain Heidelberg basketball. 7 seconds remain on the shot clock for the Student Princes as Stibe will be the trigger man. Stibe into Arlano. Arlano, man, got fouled by Hartman that time. And Arlano surprised that time because Hartman basically gave him a big old bear hug.
Capital foul, number 11, Joe Hartman is 4.
So now Bradfield will check in for Capital, and that's already the 14th foul on Joe. So Arlano will head to the foul line for Heidelberg, and not one of the more memorable games offensively for Arlano. He's only got 4 points to this point. Make it 5 after the made free throw. One more upcoming for the senior from Paulding, Ohio. Shot is up, and it is good for Arlano. 7-point lead for Heidelberg, 58-51. 4 minutes left to go. Caldwell over to Schreck. Schreck dribbling to his right. Combs for 3 and completely missed everything. Just flat out missed everything as the rebound is taken by Emmanuel Purdue. Nate Stein over to Emmanuel Purdue. Purdue dribbling to his right. Purdue over to Nakai Taylor in the hands of Homan. Homan twisting, turning, back out, 3, no good for Purdue, but Homan grabs the offensive board, and then a foul is called against Capital. No, I take that back. It's going to go against Homan. I thought for sure they were pointing at Tyler Schreck that time. Turns out the foul.
Number 12, Tyler Schreck is 4.
Now there's confusion. Because they said that the foul. Even the PA announcer got confused by that. So Schreck will head to the foul line. No good. One more free throw attempt for Capital, who's now in the double bonus. Back in the game for Capital is David Samford. One more foul shot for Schreck. It is up. And, oh boy, it's no good. Rattled in and out. And now Heidelberg back with the basketball, up by 7. 3:09 remaining in the second half. Woods over to Purdue. He'll try to go baseline, and then a blocking foul will be called. Looks like the foul will go against Schreck. So now Emmanuel Purdue will head back to the line. Purdue has ended up having himself a good game. He's got 15 points. Looking to add to that total right here. His shot is good. He's now got 16. Combs checks back into the ballgame for Capital, along with Ryan Roth. One more free throw attempt for Purdue. He's looking for his 17th point of the ballgame. Shot is up and good. So 17 for Purdue. And now Heidelberg possesses its largest lead of the game, 60-51 as we tick under 3 minutes to play. Combs to Bradfield. Reed driving, tough shot in the lane, can't get it to go. Dosick, however, the offensive rebound. Dosick looking for help. And a nice pass inside as he's able to find a cutting Combs for 2. About 2.5 to play now. It's a 60-53 lead for Heidelberg. When does Capital think about fouling here? Nakai Taylor to Arlano. Arlano back outside. Woods, jumper. No good. Rebound taken by Capital's Griffin Dosick. Dosick quickly across half court. Over to Combs. Combs inside. And another turnover for Capital, as now Holman is fouled. Foul will go against Reed Bradfield now. And this will result in free throws for Heidelberg. You just kind of get the feeling that Capital towards the end here is just starting to get a little tired, a little fatigued. And Heidelberg taking advantage. So now Seth Holman, who earlier this half, making a big 3 as he misses the first free throw. You really got to go back to that sequence around the 4-minute mark where Holman made the 3, then Arlano making the 2 free throws when he got fouled on the Holman 3. That 5-point swing could turn out to be the key to this game here tonight, as the lead is stretched now to 8 for Heidelberg, under 2 minutes to play, 61-53 in favor of the Student Princes. Capital trying to get something going here. Caldwell, right wing, dribbling to his left. Cam to Ryan Roth. Roth over to Bradfield. Bradfield needs some help. Combs for 3. Combs knocks it down. And now a timeout will be taken by Capital. 1:38 left to play. Heidelberg 61, Capital 56. Don't put this ball game to bed just yet. So this will be a 30-second timeout for Capital. As head coach Damon Goodwin will talk strategy. Schreck and Sanford will get ready to check back in here for Capital. Again, 1:38 remaining here in the second half. Heidelberg leading Capital 61-56. Please be sure to join us for the Rusty Bucket post-game show. We'll go over the final stats, name our player of the game, and check scores around the OAC and more. And we'll be coming up on the Rusty Bucket post-game show. Well, both teams have been lining it up here offensively here in the second half. What a game it has been for Emmanuel Purdue. He ends up with 17 points, or at least has 17 points, I should say. Meanwhile, 3 double-digit scores for Capital on the night. Joe Hartman's got 10. Carter Combs has got 14. And 10 points for Cam Caldwell as well. So now Capital, they got to get defensive stops, force some turnovers, and make some shots. Down by 5 with 1:38 remaining. Let's see what happens. Seth Holman will inbound it for Heidelberg. Capital will look to amp up the pressure here. They'll get it into Arlano. Arlano gets it over to Dylan Woods. Woods double team. Woods trying to find his way around. Finally gets across half court. Back in the hands of Woods. 14 on the shot clock for the Student Princes. Woods to Purdue for three. No good. Rebound taken by Griffin Dosick. That could have been a dagger right there, but instead, Capital remains alive. Dosick thought about a three. Back out to Cam. Cam for three. Woefully short as Arlano grabs a rebound for Heidelberg. We're now under a minute to play. And Arlano almost throws it away. Nakai Taylor, meanwhile, tried to save it, tried to throw it off of the leg of Caldwell, but he was called out of bounds because he stepped on the end line. So now Capital will get the ball back here. Roth will inbound it to Caldwell. 50 seconds and counting. Capital's got to get a shot here. Combs. Over to Caldwell. Cam, top of the arc. Down the lane, Cam, tough shot, can't get it to go. Seth Homan with the rebound. And now a foul by Cam Caldwell. He fouls Emmanuel Purdue, who now has an opportunity to perhaps put this game on ice. Emmanuel Purdue.
To the line for Heidelberg.
He's got 17. A 5-point lead for Heidelberg. Now it's a 6-point advantage for the Student Princes. If Heidelberg holds on to win this game, they would improve to 2-2 on the season, 2-2 with an OAC play. Meanwhile, for Capital, you're looking square in the face of a 1-3 start in OAC play. Purdue, meantime, shot up and good. 19 points for Emmanuel Purdue. Shaker Heights, Ohio native, has had himself a good game. Combs goes down the lane and scores, and he got fouled by Arlano as well. So now Combs heads to the foul line, and mass substitutions for Capital as Schreck, Caldwell, and Graves check back in for Capital, and I would assume that Combs is going to be subbed for David Sanford after he hopefully makes this free throw upcoming here. Trying to cut it to 4. Can't. Missed it, and Arlano grabs the rebound, but then a foul was called against Capital's Reed Bradfield. Arlano nearly lost that one out of bounds.
Capital foul to Reed Bradfield's 4, sending Heidelberg to the free throw line.
So now Arlano will make the walk to the free throw line. Heidelberg really hasn't needed their big man to score a lot of points tonight. Arlano's only got 6, a night after he dropped 23. But it has been his teammates, his other teammates, that have stepped up tonight offensively as Arlano knocks down the first free throw. Roth, Meister, and Dosick check back in for Capital. We've talked about Emmanuel Purdue having himself a nice game. He's got 19. How about Seth Homan? He's got 14 points. He's knocked down a couple of big shots for Heidelberg, as has Dylan Woods, who's got 14. Arlano missing the second free throw. 64-58. Under 20 seconds to go. Shot clock's been turned off. Capital needs a shot. Inside, Bradfield makes it. Cuts the lead to 4. Timeout taken by Capital. 13.1 seconds remain here in regulation.
Capital University would like to thank the following sponsors.
Still a 2-possession game here as Capital's down by 4. Both teams in the double bonus. Capital does have 1 timeout remaining.
And Byers Airport Subaru. Thank you for your support of Crusaders Athletics.
After this game tonight, Capital will turn its attention to Wilmington. Quakers will come here to the Capital Center on Friday, February 5th. That game is scheduled for a 7 o'clock start. Then we'll we'll get things started with the Byers Airport Subaru pregame show beginning at 6:45 for that one. And then Capital will make the trek down to Wilmington to take on the Quakers. That game is scheduled for a 6 o'clock tip. So the Quakers await Capital after this game. Meantime, 13.1 seconds remain in this bad boy. It's a 64-60 lead for Heidelberg. Capital looking for a turnover on this inbounds pass right here. Looking for a quick shot as well. Doesn't have to be a three necessarily. Just try to get yourself closer to Heidelberg. Homan gets it into Woods. Woods double teamed, back to Homan. Up ahead to Taylor. And Taylor is fouled. 6.9 seconds remain. Combs, Meister, Roth, and Dosick getting set to check back in for Capital. But first, Nakai Taylor, the sophomore from Columbus, will head to the line for Heidelberg. Makes the first. That's a 5-point lead for Heidelberg now. As the subs come in for Capital, Meister, Combs, Dosick, Roth. One more free throw for Nakai Taylor. Shot is up and no good. 5-point lead, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Combs to Meister, Trey for three, no good. And that is that. Final score from the Capital Center. Heidelberg 65, Capital 60. Heidelberg improves to 2-2 on the season. Capital drops to 1-3. We'll be back with the Rusty Bucket postgame show in just a moment. You have been listening to and watching a presentation of Crusaders men's basketball here on athletics.capital.edu.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
Welcome into the Rusty Bucket postgame show. Our final here tonight at the Capital Center. It is Heidelberg triumphing over Capital by a final of 65-60. I'm Charlie Danis. Let's go ahead and roll through the stats of this one between the Student Princes and the Crusaders. We begin with the team stats for tonight. Heidelberg shooting 44% from the field, Capital shooting 37%. Three-pointers, both teams struggle from downtown tonight. Heidelberg ends up going 5 of 21 from downtown, good for 24%. Capital, meantime, goes 7 of 21, good for 33%. Heidelberg going to the foul line 26 times, making 19 of their shots from the charity stripe, good for 73%. Capital, meanwhile, 11 of 20 from the foul line, good for 55%. Capital, +7 in the rebounding category in this game against the Student Princes. Assists, Capital 12, Heidelberg 5. Turnovers, Capital 19, Heidelberg 16. Bench points, Capital 11, Heidelberg 7. Blocks, Heidelberg 7, Capital 2. Fast break points, Heidelberg 8, Capital 5. Steals, Capital 12, Heidelberg 9. Points off turnovers, Heidelberg 16, Capital 14. Points in the paint, Heidelberg 24, Capital 22. Second chance points, Capital 16, Heidelberg 5. And those are your team stats from this game. Now on to the individual statistics. Let us begin with Heidelberg. How about Emmanuel Perdue tonight? Shot 5 of 12 from the field, only 2 of 7 from three-point range, but he did a lot of his damage from the foul line as he played a major part in closing out this game for Heidelberg. He ends up with 19 points on the night. Other scores for Heidelberg this evening. Seth Homan had 14 points. Dylan Woods had 14 points as well. 7 points for Alex Arlano. 4 points for Zane Lightwine, and 3 points each for Nakai Taylor and Nate Stive. Now on to the scoring for Capital. Crusaders had 3 scorers in double figures tonight. They were led offensively by Carter Combs. He had 16 points, shot 6 of 13 from the field, 3 of 8 from three-point range as well. Joe Hartman had 10 points to go along with 6 rebounds. Cam Caldwell had 10 points as well. Griffin Dosick nearly had a double-double tonight. He had 8 points to go along with 12 rebounds. Reed Bradfield had 6 points. Tyler Schreck had 5. 3 points for Ryan Roth and 2 points for Trey Meister. It's now time to name our Capital Player of the Game. I'm going to go ahead and give that honor to Carter Combs tonight, the freshman from Cincinnati. He's not afraid. This guy's going to be a very good player for Capital in the coming years. Only as a freshman, not afraid to spot up, hit threes. Give this guy some time. He's going to be a really, really good player for the Crusaders. Let's now go ahead and take a look at some scores around the Ohio Athletic Conference. We did have a couple of cancellations. John Carroll and Otterbein were not able to play today due to some COVID-19 issues, so those teams were not in action tonight. However, there were some other games around the conference going on. Final from earlier today, Mount Union improves to 3-0 in OAC play as they defeat Ohio Northern 94-72. Boy, that Mount Union squad is looking really, really good to begin the 2021 campaign. A game that has just gone final. Baldwin Wallace ends up edging Marietta 83-80. Baldwin Wallace led defensively or offensively, I should say, by Jake Snyder, who had 17 points for the Yellow Jackets in that one. And finally, 36 seconds remain in the second half at Wilmington. The Quakers are holding on to an 81-75 lead over Muskingum in that one. Wilmington being led offensively by Bilal Sow, who's got 18 points in that ball game. The next time you will be hearing from us when it comes to Capital men's basketball will be February 5th. That'll be a Friday. We'll be back here at the Capitol Center as the Crusaders get set to take on the Quakers of Wilmington. That game is scheduled for a 7 o'clock tip. We will get things started with the Byers Airport Subaru pregame show beginning at 6:45 p.m. Before we leave you tonight, folks, we would like to thank all of our sponsors for their support of this very broadcast. Byers Airport Subaru, who brought you today's pregame show, the Capital Army ROTC, which brought you the halftime show, and finally, the Rusty Bucket, the sponsor of this very postgame show. Also like to thank the fine folks at Pepsi, Tills Greenhouse, as well as the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center. This is Charlie Dana saying one final time, the final score tonight from the Capitol Center, Heidelberg 65, Capital 60. We say so long and good night from Bexley, Ohio.